My name is Rapper, still reading the Quran. "135. Indeed, I fear for you the punishment of a terrible day. 136. They said, it is all the same to us whether you advise or are not of the advisors. 137. This is not but the custom of the former peoples. 138. And we are not to be punished. 139. And they denied him, so we destroyed them. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. 140. And indeed your Lord, he is the exalted in might, the merciful. 144. Thamud denied the messengers. 142. When their brother Salih said to them, will you not fear Allah? 143. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. 144. So fear Allah and obey me. 145. And I do not ask for any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. 146. And will you be left in what is here, secure from death? 147. Within gardens and springs. 148. In fields of crops and palm trees with softened fruit. 149. And you carve out the animals' homes with skill. 150. So fear Allah and obey me. 151. And do not obey the order of the transgressors. 152. Who cause corruption in the land and do not amend. 153. They said, you are only of those affected by magic. 154. You are but a man like yourselves, so bring a sign if you should be of the truthful. 155. He said, this is a she-camel. For her is a time of drink, and for you is a time of drink, each a known day. 156. And do not touch her with harm, lest you be seized by the punishment of a terrible day. Footnotes. Miraculously sent to them as a sign by Allah. 157. But they hamstrung her, and so become regretful. 158. And the punishment seized them. Indeed, that is a sign, but most of them were not believers. 159. And indeed, your Lord, he is exalted in might and merciful. 160. The people of Lot denied the messengers. 161. When their brother Lot said to them, will you not fear Allah? 162. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. 163. So fear Allah and obey me. 164. And I do not ask you for any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. 165. Do you approach males among the worlds? 166. And leave what your Lord has created for you as mates, but you are people transgressing. 167. They said, if you do not desist, O Lot, will you surely be of those evicted? 168. He said, indeed, I am toward your deed of those who detest it. 169. My Lord, save me and my family from the consequence of what they do. 170. So we saved him and his family all. 171. Except an old woman, and among those who remain behind. 172. Then we destroyed the others. 173. And we rained upon them a rain of stones, and evil was the rain of those who were warned. 174. Indeed, that is the sign, but most of them were not of the believers. 175. And indeed your Lord, he is exalted in might, the merciful. Footnotes. I.e., are there out of all Allah's creatures any besides you who commit this unnatural act? Lot's wife, who had collaborated with the evildoers. 176. The companions of the thicket, i.e., people of Madian, denied the messengers. 177. When Shu'aib said to them, will you not fear Allah? 178. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. 179. So fear Allah and obey me. 180. And I do not ask for any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. 181. Give full measure and do not be of those who cause loss. 182. And weigh with an even, i.e., honest balance. 183. And do not deprive people of their due, and do not commit abuse on earth, spreading corruption. 184. And fear who created you in former creation. 185. They said you are only of those affected by magic. 186. You are but a man like yourselves, and indeed we think you are among the liars. 187. So cause to fell upon his fragments of the sky if you should be of the truthful. 188. He said, my Lord is most knowing of what you do. 189. And they denied him, so the punishment of the day of the black cloud seized them. Indeed, it was the punishment of a terrible day. 190. Indeed, and that is a sign, but most of them were not believers. 191. And indeed your Lord, he is the exalted in might, the merciful. 192. And indeed it, i.e., the Quran, is the revelation of the Lord of the worlds. 193, the trustworthy spirit, i.e. Gabriel, has brought it down. 194, upon your heart, O Muhammad, that you may be of the warners. 195, in a clear Arabic language. Footnotes, i.e. previous generation. 196, and indeed it is mentioned in the scriptures of the former peoples. 197, and has it not been assigned to them that it recognized by the scholars of the children of Israel? 198, and even if we revealed it to one among the foreigners. 199, and he had recited it to them perfectly, they would still not have been believers in it. 200, thus have we inserted it, i.e. disbelief, into the hearts of the criminals. 201, they will not believe in it until they see the painful punishment. 202, and it will come to them suddenly while they perceive it not. 203, and they will say, may we be reprieved. 204, so far our punishment are the impatient. 205, then have you considered we gave them enjoyment for years? 206, and then there came to them which they were promised. 207, they would not be availed by the enjoyment with which they were provided. 208, and we did not destroy any except that it were warners. 209, as a reminder, and never have we been unjust. 210, and the devils have not brought it, i.e. the revelation, down. 211, it is not allowable for them, nor would they be able. 212, indeed they from its hearing are removed. 213, so do not invoke with Allah another deity, and thus be among with the punished. 214, and warn, O Muhammad, your closest kindred, i.e. footnotes, i.e. the non-Arabs, or those who are non-fluent in the Arabic language, as a miracle from Allah, as was asserted by the disbelievers, rather it was brought by Gabriel, the trustworthy spirit, as mentioned in 72:9, or worship. 215, and lower your wing, i.e. show kindness to those who follow you of the believers. 216, and if they disobey you, then say, indeed I am disassociated with what you are doing. 217, and rely upon the exalted in might, the merciful. 218, who sees you when you arise? 219, and you're moving among those who prostrate. 220, indeed he is the hearing, the knowing. 221, shall I inform you upon whom the devils descend? 222, they descend upon every sinful liar. 223, they pass on what is heard, and most of them are liars. 224, and the poets, only the deviators follow them. 225, do you not see that in every valley they roam? 226, and that they say what they do not do. 227, except those poets who believe and do righteous deeds and remember Allah often to defend the Muslims after they were wronged, and those who have wronged are going to know what kind of return they will be returned. Footnotes, from your bed at night for prayer while you are alone, i.e. among those who pray with you in congregation. This was before they were prevented, and is described in 7289, speaking lies indiscriminately and praising and disparaging others according to whim, by replying through poetry to attacks of hostile poets. We've made it to another surah. We're on Surah An-Naml. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Number 1, Tasin. These are the verses of the Quran, i.e. recitation and clear book. Number 2, a guidance and good tidings for the believers. Number 3, who establish prayer and give zakah, and of the hereafter they are certain in faith. 4, indeed those who do not believe in the hereafter, we have made pleasing to them their deeds, so they wander blindly. Number 5, those are the ones for whom we will be a worse of punishment, and in the hereafter they are the greatest losers. 6, and indeed, O Muhammad, you received the Quran from one wise and knowing. 7, mention when Moses said to his family, indeed, I have perceived the fire. I will bring you from their information, or will bring you a burning torch that you may warn yourself. Number 8, but when we came to it, he was called, blessed is whoever is at the fire and whoever is around it, and exalted is Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Number 9, O Moses, it is, indeed is, Allah, the exalted in might, the wise. 10, and he was told, throw down your staff, but when he saw it writhing as if it were a snake, he turned in flight and did not return. Allah said, O Moses, fear not, indeed my presence, the messenger, do not fear. 11. Otherwise, he who wrongs did substitute good after evil, indeed I am forgiving and merciful. 12, and put your hand into the opening of the garment at the footnotes, and Nimel, the ants. See footnote to 2:1, or did not look back. Breast, it will come out white without disease. These are among the 9 signs you will take to Pharaoh and his people. Indeed, they have been a people defiantly disobedient. 13, but when there came to them our visible signs, they said, this is obvious magic. Number 14, and they rejected him while their inner selves were convinced thereof out of injustice and haughtiness. See how was the end of the corrupters? 15, and we had certainly given to David and Solomon knowledge, and they said, praise is due to Allah who has favored us over many of his believing servants. 16, and Solomon inherited David. He said, O people, we have been taught the language of birds, and we have been given from all things. Indeed, this is evident bounty. 17, and gathered for Solomon were his soldiers of the jinn, and men and birds, and they were marching in rows. Number 18, until when they came upon the valley of ants, and ants said, O ant, enter your dwellings, that you do not be crushed by Solomon and his soldiers while they perceive not. Number 19, so Solomon smiled amused at her speech and said, my Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon the parents, and do the righteous of which you approve, and admit me by your mercy into the ranks of your righteous servants. 20, and he took attendance of the birds and said, why do I not see the hope, or is he among the absent? 21, I will surely punish him with a severe punishment, or slaughter him, unless he brings me clear authorization. 22, but he, i.e. the hope, stayed not long and said, I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not. Footnotes. More literally, gather within me the utmost strength and ability, or with your righteous servants into paradise, i.e. a valid excuse. Encompassed, and I have come to you from the Sheba with certain news. 23, indeed, I found there a woman ruling them, and she has been given all things, and she has a great throne. 24, I found her and her other people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah, and Satan has made their deeds pleasing to them, and inverted them from his way, so they are not guided. 25, and so do not prostrate to Allah, who brings forth what is hidden within the heavens and the earth, and knows you which you conceal or what you declare. 26, Allah, there is no deity except him, Lord of the great throne. 27, Solomon said, we will see whether you were truthful or were you of the liars. 28, take this letter of mine and deliver it to them, then leave them and see what answer they will return. 29, she said, O eminent ones, indeed to me you has been delivered a more noble letter. 30, indeed it is from Solomon, and indeed it is reads in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. 31, be not haughty with me, but come to me in submission as Muslims. 32, she said, O eminent ones, advise me in my affair. I would not decide a matter until you witness for me. 33, they said, we are men of strength and great military might, but the command is yours, so see what you will command. 34, she said, indeed, kings, when they enter the city, they run it and render the honor of the people humbled, and thus do they do. 35, but indeed, I will send to them a gift, and will see with what reply the messengers will return. Footnotes, i.e., are present with me or testify in my favor. 36, so when they came to Solomon, he said, do you provide me with wealth? But what Allah has given me is better than what he has given you. Rather, it is you who rejoice in your gift. 37, return to them, for we will surely come to them with soldiers, and they will be powerless to encounter, and we will surely expel their forum in humiliation, and they will be debased. 38, Solomon said, O assembly of jinn, which of you will bring me her throne before they come to me in submission? 39, a powerful one from among the jinn said, I will bring it to you before you rise from your place, and indeed I am for this task strong and trustworthy. 40, said one who had knowledge from the scripture, I will bring it to you before your glance returns to you. And when Solomon saw it placed before him, he said, this is from favor of my Lord to test me whether I will be grateful or ungrateful. And whoever is grateful, his gratitude is only for the benefit of himself. And whoever is ungrateful, then indeed my Lord is free of need and generous. 41, he said, disguise for her throne. We will see whether she will be guided to truth or will be of those who will be not guided. 42, so when she arrived, it was said to her, is your throne like this? She said, it is though it was. Solomon said, and we were given knowledge before, and we had been Muslims in submission to Allah. 43. And that which she was worshiping other than Allah had averted her from submission to him. Indeed, she was from a disbelieving people. 44. She was told, enter the palace. But when she saw it, she thought it was a body of water, and uncovered her shins to wade through. He said, indeed, it is the palace whose floor is made smooth with glass. She said, my Lord, indeed, I have wronged myself, and I submit with Solomon to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Footnotes, the floor was transparent, and beneath it was a flowing water. 45. And we had certainly sent to Thamud their brother Salih, saying, worship Allah at once. There were two parties conflicting. 46. He said, O my people, why are you impatient for evil before I.e. instead of good? Why do you not seek forgiveness of Allah that you may receive mercy? 47. They said, we considered you a bad omen, and you and those with you. He said, your omen, i.e. fate, is with Allah. Rather, you are people being tested. 48. And there were in the city 9 family heads causing corruption in the land and not amending its affairs. 49. They said, take a mutual oath by Allah that we will kill him by night, and he and his family. Then we will say to the executor, we did not witness the destruction of his family, and indeed we are truthful. 50. And they planned to plan, and we planned to plan while they perceived not. 51. Then look how was the outcome of their plan, and we destroyed them and their people all. 52. So those are their houses desolate because of the wrong they had done. Indeed, and that is a sign for people who know. 43. And we saved those who believed and used to fear Allah. 54. And mentioned Lot when he said to his people, do you commit immorality while you are seeing? 55. Do you indeed approach men with desire instead of women? Rather, you are people behaving ignorantly. Footnotes. By challenging Salih to bring on the promised punishment rather than asking for mercy from Allah, or being tempted by Satan, i.e. the responsible executing his will and avenging his blood, homosexual acts, i.e. openly. Another meaning is while you're aware of what you're doing. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.